Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Wednesday, April 19th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. We begin today remembering the victims of the Portapique massacre on day 2 of what marks the third-year anniversary of when a gunman killed 22 people and an unborn child. These are the victims whose lives were taken on April 18th and 19th, 2020. The flags at Province House and all provincial government buildings and institutions will stay at half-mast until sunset. Public Servants Alliance of Canada workers are on strike across the country today, including thousands here in Nova Scotia. Here's a look at the scene in Halifax. Members working for Treasury Board and Canada Revenue Agency announced their strike action last night. Around 155,000 are picketing across the country today. They're calling for better wages and for the government to step in with a fair offer. Picket lines were set up in more than 250 locations across the country, including here in Truro. Here's a look at some of the picket lines in Cape Breton. In Sydney, an estimated 1,500 workers were on the lines before 7 a.m. Others were set to picket federal sites in Port Hawkesbury, North Sydney, and Glace Bay.
We really thought that we were going to get a deal. We've been trying for 2 years in order to get a contract. Our workers work really hard for the Canadian citizens, and we deserve fair wages. Anything less than inflation is a wage cut.
PSAC announced on their website that with nearly a third of the entire federal public service workers on strike, Canadians can expect to see slowdowns or a complete shutdown of services, including a complete halt of the tax season. Negotiations between PSAC and Treasury Board began in June 2021. Well, speaking of strikes, at least one has been avoided after the Regional Centres for Education across Nova Scotia and CUPE reached a tentative agreement. The province's Department of Education and Early Childhood Development and the Canadian Union of Public Employees confirmed the deal this morning. That means there won't be a strike this Friday by thousands of school support workers. A union spokesperson said members still have to approve the deal and will vote on it over the next couple of weeks. Workers will remain on the job while the voting takes place. Details of the deal have not yet been released. Police are investigating a shooting last night in Halifax. Just after 7, police were called to a shooting in the area of Gebhardt Street in Halifax. Police say officers found a home that had been shot at. No one was hurt. They're now looking for a suspect that they're describing as a light-complected man around 30 to 40 years old, dressed in a black hoodie, black pants, 5 feet tall, with an average build. Next to Yarmouth, the Junior A Mariners hockey team have won 10 consecutive MHL playoff games and are chasing the league championship title in a series with the Edmundston Blizzard. The Mariners won the first 2 games of the best-of-7 series, with Game 3 of the series being played tomorrow in Edmundston. The winner of this series will also represent the league at the National Centennial Cup. SaltWire's Tina Camo has more on the excitement from Yarmouth.
There is Mariners mania in Yarmouth as the Yarmouth Jr Mariners are in the chase for the MHL's Metal-Fab League Championship. The Mariners lead the best-of-7 series 2-0 after 2 home wins against the Edmundston Blizzard. One game was a 1-0 victory, the other a 7-5 win. Both games were thrilling contests for the fans, with the outcomes coming down to the final buzzers. The Mariners, who finished their regular season in first place overall in the MHL, have won 10 consecutive playoff games so far. The team swept the Pictou County Crushers in the division semifinal and then swept the Truro Bearcats in another 4 games to win the Eastlink South Division Championship. The Yarmouth Mariners have won 2 league championships before, in 2008 over Woodstock and in 2019 over Campbellton. The team has been in other league championship finals as well, and nearly won in 2012, but lost to Woodstock in triple overtime in Game 7. Yarmouth and Edmundston are no strangers to each other when it comes to the league final. They played each other for the Cup in 2018, with the win going to the Blizzard in Game 6. Obviously, in this do-over, the Mariners are looking to change that previous outcome. Home playoff games at the Mariner Centre have been sold out or close to it as the community cheers on their team. which this year is celebrating its 20th season in Yarmouth. The team and fans are hoping the biggest celebrations are yet to come. Game 3 of the Best of 7 series is April 20th in Edmundston, where Games 4 and 5 will also be played. If the series goes to Games 6 and 7, those will be back in Yarmouth. If the Mariners win the league championship, they will also represent the MHL at the National Centennial Cup in Manitoba in May. For the team and their fans, it would be an amazing way to mark an amazing season. This is Tina Camo, reporting for SaltWire in Yarmouth.
It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with NDP leader Claudia Chender about Nova Scotians who need a family doctor.
Opposition Tim Houston very much was paying attention to that list of Nova Scotians who were waiting for a primary care provider. There's been a change to the way that's being reported. What's your perspective of the way things have changed there?
Oh, well, I mean, I think it's something we really need to pay attention to. So we know that the latest number of people who are not attached to primary care is 142,000 people. That's a huge number of people. So that's more than 10% of Nova Scotians. Those are just the people on the list. So for all of those people, we know that there are more. This government is trying to make the argument, unsuccessfully, in my opinion, that access to care is the important metric. And access to care means you could go to a walk-in or you could access virtual care. And what we are saying is that when I talk to people, which I do every day, about healthcare, when you say you want to fix healthcare, everybody has a different idea, right? For one, somebody, it might be getting that knee replacement they've been waiting for 2 years. For someone else, it might be knowing that a paramedic is going to show up when they call 911. But for a lot of people, it's having healthcare you can count on in the form of some kind of family practice or family health team. We used to call that a doctor's office. We know that that's changing, but I think what people want is to be attached to a healthcare provider. So healthcare they can count on.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of saltwire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by Scott Squires.
Andrew Paris is from Truro, Nova Scotia, and attended the Toronto Blue Jays home opener last week. He checked out some of the renovations to Rogers Centre and also took time to try some of the ballpark fare. Now, I'm a foodie, and I like to try different kinds of food. One that I saw on a broadcast was a poutine hot dog. But for you, did you try any of the stadium food there? And if you did, what was the one that you kind of liked the most?
I did try the poutine hot dog. Again, just like the renovation themselves, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. If you're a poutine fan, you'll definitely love their new hot dog. And we actually had a few hot dogs, but they have a specific area over in the right field corner where like hot dogs are all the rage there, if you will.
I am a huge fan of poutine. I've got to dig a little deeper now. What made it so good? Because it does look delicious, but you've tried it. What makes it so good?
When you think about poutine hot dogs, you think it wouldn't make the most the greatest tasting combination, if you will, but the gravy and the cheese on top of the hot dog, it's actually a lot better than you might think. Even if you're not the biggest poutine fan in the whole wide world, I encourage you to try it the next time you head up to the Rogers Centre.
For my full conversation with Andrew, you can click on the video tab at saltwire.com and visit our SaltWire YouTube channel. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now to see what's coming up in the forecast. We're going to check in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Thanks, Kate. Well, I did manage to avoid the pop-up showers that did develop over parts of Nova Scotia this afternoon. And really, besides the showers that we had today, Not a whole lot of rain to talk about in the upcoming forecast. This evening it will be partly cloudy, holding on to that chance of showers, and the temperature near 8 degrees and starting near 5 degrees on our Thursday morning with mainly sunny skies. Now into the afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud with a high near 11 degrees and northwest winds of 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. We'll still have this trough lingering over eastern Nova Scotia, giving us a bit more wind and allowing those clouds to continue to be in our sky. But there's plenty of sunshine to be found. It will be fair right through the upcoming weekend into early next week. Really not bad for mid to late April, so enjoy the weather if you can. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com. And you can find us on social media. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.